supported fish pose. This is going to lift the chest and heart. It's going to open the chest, stretch the muscles through the rib cage. It's also going to give us a little bit of acupressure down the upper back and spine. So I know I've gone over these already, but I'll just give a quick recap, and then of course you choose what works best. So if you want the higher version, you'll get more lift. It might feel a little bit more intense for the body. 2 yoga blocks would be ideal. I only have one, so I'm going to use 1 block for my upper back, and then my cushion and a folded towel for the head. You can have pillows, bolsters, a yoga strap tonight, and anything else you want to bring into your practice. So the first block goes on lengthwise, medium setting, near the top of the mat. And then your other props will be to support the back of the head, so we'll make a T shape there. It doesn't matter if they're touching or there's a little bit of space there. Basically, we want our neck to be in its natural curve. Maybe a little bit of head falling back is okay. Excuse me, to open up the throat as well. Now, if that's a little bit much for us, we take a softer version. So maybe our towel, and we get it into a rectangular fold that kind of mimics the shape of a yoga block. It'll go in the same position. And again, elevating the upper back between the shoulder blades, and then the head can fall towards the mat or any additional support. As far as the legs go, this is a big elevation here for the chest. So for some of us, keeping the knees bent up and allowing them to drop together might be a little bit better for our body tonight. But we're always welcome to take other variations in the legs, use the support of your bolsters and pillows, and even simply stretching the legs out. So the low back is sinking towards the ground. We want to feel heaviness through the limbs. So wherever position we choose to place our legs, release the weight of the legs, and especially through our arms here. So we want to feel the weight of the elbows, backs of the hands sink to the ground. The fingertips will curl up naturally. And we'll let those shoulders fall away from the body. It's really the upper arm bones that are falling away and trying to loosen that grip around the shoulder girdle. Make those adjustments as needed, loosen things up, get comfortable. Whatever position we chose, after a few deep breaths, we should feel like we can breathe easily, smoothly, and that the body can relax. If we ever feel like the body's getting more tense or tight, we probably need to adjust our position. Salamba Matsyasana, supported fish pose. This pose helps improve the quality of our breath as it does stretch the muscles between the rib cage. It helps improve our posture so it counters all the rounding and forward flexion that we tend to do throughout our day. So if we have a little bit of that hunchback going on, we look down at a keyboard or at a screen, this is a really nice way to counter that. As usual, we'll start our practice by reconnecting to the body, the breath, and the brain. So we'll start with the physical body, taking a mental scan from the top of our head all the way down into our fingertips and toes. Pay special attention to those little muscles around the face, softening the brow, around the eyes, relaxing the mouth, tongue, and jaw. Continue to relax the abdomen, the low back, around the hips, all the way down the legs into the ankles, feet, and toes. We might notice areas in our body that need some extra TLC tonight. So we'll pause on those areas as well and allow them to relax. Remembering that we will each make any necessary adjustments or modifications in our practice. And now let's start to spread the awareness to the breath. Observing and watching the body breathe. Notice how this pose might change our breath, where we feel it, where it tends to move. And then we'll take our breathing tonight in our Samavriti Pranayama, or even and equal breath. So we'll try to even out our breath as much as possible. Continue to inhale and exhale through the nose. And on our next inhale, we will mentally count the breath that we are taking to fill ourselves up and expand. So we'll let the abdomen expand as much as it can. We'll feel the stretch around the ribs, the openness around the heart all the way into the throat. And on our exhale, we will mentally count the same number back out to empty the body, to clean everything out, to exhale away any tension, stress, or worries you might be carrying around from our day. The inhale is energizing, filling, bringing in that fresh air, prana, and energy. And our exhale should be releasing, a moment to let go. And then we'll all take one more cycle of breath. And this cycle of breath, we're going to try to expand, both on the inhale and exhale, or lengthen. So the next time we breathe in, don't worry about the number we're breathing in. Just simply try to fill the body up as much as possible. And keep inhaling, inhaling, inhaling until you're completely full. And there's no way we can sip any more air in. And then at the very top, when we can't feel the body anymore, we will slowly start the exhale. And this exhale, again, we don't care how long it lasts. We will just take as much time as is needed to empty. We'll put a little effort in this exhale, using some muscles to squeeze it out. And when we've thought that we've emptied every last drop of breath, try to exhale even more. And at the bottom of that exhale, gently release, controlling, and trying to follow the breath for a moment. Start to notice and feel the physical body again. Contact points to floor and props. And we'll just gently start to wake up our toes, the fingertips. I would say a gentle rock of the head, but it really depends on where your head is at. So if you're having a little bit of that headward fall backwards, I would not rock the head side to side. But if your head is in the same plane as your upper back, it might be okay. And then we're going to start to come off of our props here. So those of us elevated on yoga blocks, arm bones beside the body, step the feet in if they're extended, use core, use the strength in your arms, lead with the heart, and slowly lift the body up off the props. We don't need to come up all the way, but just enough to slide everything off of our mat. If you're closer to the floor, you might be able to just roll off the mat, the props to your mat, rolling to one side. Tongue twister. And then once we clear our space, we will all lie flat back down to the floor. And once we're here, lengthen out that low back. Stretch those legs out down the middle of the mat, bringing the insides of the legs and feet to touch. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Find that very back center of the skull, and our arms are going to rest right down beside the body. On our inhale, we'll go into our long body stretch. So the arms will reach up to the ceiling all the way overhead. Flex those feet, pulling all the toes towards the shin bone. Exhale, point those toes and pump those arms down with some strength. So now our exhale is going to be strengthening. When we get to our inhale, it's lengthening. We'll want to come back to our smooth Samavritti pranayama. So an even count to move through this pose, water pump pose. So we're starting to stretch the area around our shoulders now. Create some coordination between our feet and our hands. Following the breath. On our exhales, when we want to add a little bit more, point the toes, pump those arms, pull the belly in, and float the head to look to the toes. And then on the inhale, we'll relax the head back down to reach overhead. Exhale, draws the belly in, strong arms, look to those toes. If we're adding the element, that will also stretch the root of the neck, and then we'll lengthen. Let's all flow through one more full cycle. And we'll eventually meet on the inhale. Take your time getting there, but we'll meet with our arms stretched overhead and those feet flats. Spread those fingers, spread those toes. And then exhale, let's soften, but we're gonna keep our arms overhead. And we'll open our arms as wide as our yoga mat, so now our arms are in a V shape. And then we'll open our feet or legs as wide as our yoga mat as well. So our heels are towards those outside bottom corners of our yoga mat. From the ceiling, we look like a capital letter X. We're gonna do it a little differently tonight. So this is diagonal stretching, also a little bit of brain work. So with just the right hand, spread the fingers of the right hand, and just the right arm is gonna reach away from the body into that far back corner of the room. Now add just the left foot. So flex the left foot, spread the toes, and extend the left heel away from the body to that front left corner of the room. The heel might even pop up. So right arm, left leg, stretching diagonally through the middle of the body. Big breath in. Exhale, soften. Now it's the left arm's turn. Activate the left arm, spread the fingers. Reach and stretch it away from the midline as far as we can to that back corner. Add the right leg. Flex the right foot, spread the toes, the heel might pop up. And stretch that right heel out away from the body. Left arm, right leg doing all the work in this diagonal plane. Big breath in. Exhale, soften. Now whole body, spread all the fingers, spread the toes, reach the limbs away in 4 directions. Exhale, soften. Banana pose or Ardha Chandrasana, we've been doing this one. So let's start by floating the left leg over. You're just crossing the left ankle on top of the right ankle. The left hip should not come up off the ground. The hips and the low back stay flat to the floor. Slide the left arm overhead. We'll take a hold of our left wrist with the right hand. Same thing with the upper body. It's flat to the floor. The left shoulder is not peeling up. The head can scooch a little bit to the right. Right arm does the work. Right hand is pulling the left arm overhead. The more you can sink your left side to the ground, you might be able to feel a little bit more of that stretch. And we're breathing smoothly in and out through the nose. So our whole left side is lengthening, stretching. Now give me one more big breath in when you get there. And on the exhale, we'll release. So you can ungrip the left wrist, bring your arms back overhead into their V shape, float that left leg back to the left corner of the mat. Big breath in to stretch everything out to the 4 corners of the room. So all fingers and toes are spreading. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, soften. And now we'll do the other side. So we'll float the right leg to meet the left, right ankle on top, hips and low back flat to the floor. Right arm slides overhead, taking a hold of our right wrist with our left hand. The shoulders also stay flat to the floor. Maybe the head moves slightly. Sink your right side down, but let it stretch and lengthen. Use your breath to create that space in the body. We'll take one more big breath in. And on the exhale, we'll release. So ungrip, slide the right arm back out, bring the head to neutral, right leg floats back out, body's in capital letter X. Big inhale, reach. You're being pulled apart in all four directions. Feel that openness in that space. Exhale, soften. Now we'll just slide our arms down, step the feet in, heels towards the sit bones, feet parallel. We have a yoga block nearby. Take that yoga block, place it right between those inner thighs, give it a little squeeze. Coming back to some fluidity and flowing movements with our breath. Shoulders are under, arms are down beside the body, flowing bridge pose. Tighten up the backside, so squeeze your glutes, your hamstrings, squeeze the block if you have it, or keep your knees in line with your toes to lift the hips up. Exhale, we lower it back down. So we all know this pose really well. Doesn't mean it will feel the same every day. We're giving the front of our hips a little stretch and we're strengthening the back. Remember that the neck should be curved away from the ground. And as we lift up, weight moves into the meaty part of the shoulders. And we'd want to come back to Samavriti breathing here as well. So if I'm inhaling and lifting to a count of 3, I want to try to exhale and lower for a count of 3. Those of us that want to add the shoulders and upper back, when we inhale, we'll lift the arms up overhead. Chest moves towards the chin, but avoid that tendency to tuck the chin. And then when we exhale, the arms float back down. So this pose is another pose that counters the sitting that we do. It helps tone and strengthen those hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. And it's a nice way to loosen up the area around the upper back and shoulders. And we'll all flow through one more round. We'll meet on our exhale, melting the body back down to the ground. Remove the blocks. Keep the knees bent. Simply open the feet as wide as a yoga mat. Take those arms, bend at the elbows, drop elbows from shoulders, backs of the hands to the floor, our windshield wipers. Again, we'll start with some fluid movement. So we'll exhale the knees to the right, allowing that left side to arch up, feeling this across the left waist, front of the hip and quad. Our inhales will bring our knees to neutral, and then we'll exhale knees to the left. Follow your breath. The head may turn the opposite direction for a counter twist in our neck. Try to keep your shoulders grounded. We can put a little bit more energy into trying to draw the knees down to the ground. However, we should not feel this in or around our knee joints. If we do, we need to back off and not go as far. And like I said last class, if you move to one side and your body's like, oh my gosh, I'm so tight, I really need this, there's no reason why you can't hang out on that side for an extra breath or 2. We all usually have one side that's a little tighter than the other. So make those accommodations. If they feel about the same, keep moving side to side. And let's balance ourselves out. So if you're pausing on one side, you can hang out there. If we're flowing, let's go one more time to our right and our left at your pace. We'll meet on the inhale with the knees up. We'll ground our low back. Using our core, we'll pull our knees in, and we'll sweep our hands around to our shin bones. Gently hug the knees into the body, little rocky movement here. So a couple more movements to loosen up the lower half. Let's extend the legs up to the ceiling. Hold on to those thighs. Help them out. If you're really stiff like me, I'm having a hard time getting my legs to go straight. So I'm really just trying to put that effort into pressing my thigh bones into my hands. This is where you can concentrate on the back of the knee as well. So if it's challenging to straighten the legs, maybe try one leg first and then the other. So it's like you're doing a little moonwalk on the ceiling. Right, so one leg tries to straighten, I'm really pressing it forward, and then the other one. Sometimes it's easier to do one at a time. From here, we'll hold on to our right thigh, point the feet, and slowly on the inhale, let's lower that left leg towards the floor. Some of us need more strengthening stability, we'll hover it. Others of us need more stretching and flexibility. And we will ground our left leg so that the leg is anchoring into the earth. And now we're just going to give our right side whatever it wants. Maybe it's a vigorous massage into those muscles, maybe kneading into the meaty part of that muscle with our fingertips. If we have tightness behind the knee, try to reach up behind that knee and massage into that area as well, because that hamstring goes all the way past the back of the knee into the calf muscle. And then from here, if we want a little bit more, we'll try to walk our hands up higher to the calf. We'll float our shoulders and head up, flaring the elbows out to keep the heart open. Big breath in. On the exhale tonight, let's release the head down, but keep the leg up, using our core. So pull the belly in. Now try to lift the left leg up. If we need to bend the knee, that's okay. So we're pulling the left leg up, meeting the right leg. We're back in waterfall pose. Take a hold of that left thigh, point to the toes. With control, try to lower the right leg down. Maybe a few centimeters from the floor. Maybe it anchors all the way down to the floor. And then left side. Where do we have our tightness? Can I create some heat back there? Maybe I want to go up into the area behind the knee. And if we want to try to get to more of the stretching, hands to that calf muscle. Float the nose up. Maybe your knee gets really close to your nose. Elbows flare out. Right side is still anchored to the ground or in a controlled hover. Good. Nice. Big breath in. This time we'll exhale, lower the head down. Keep the left leg up. So same as the first time. I don't know why I said it like that. Pull the belly in and squeeze your right leg back up to the ceiling. Waterfall pose. Both hands hold on. Now we'll flex our feet because this is for the backs of the knees as well as the inner thighs and groin. Supta Konasana, open those knees nice and wide. So if we want more, try to grip those thigh bones and really kick the heels out. Kick the heels out and also try to externally rotate the thigh bones. So that means I'm flexing my feet, toes to shins, and I'm trying to get my toes to turn out more than my heels as I press my heels away from me. This takes some effort. If you can tighten up the front of your quads a little bit more, and that's going to be a big stretch there. Shoulders should be grounded, low back as well. Big breath in. And then that exhale pulls our legs all the way back up. Bend the knees. Float the nose up to the knees if we want to give the upper back a little bit of a stretch. Breathe it in. Exhale, head down, arm down beside the head. Rolling onto one side to pause for a moment. And then we'll press into the ground and bring our bodies up. So we will come into our seated position, and we won't be here too long, but still sitting up on our props is going to help create a length up the spine. We'll find our sit bones, moving anything out of the way, our strong muscles back there. Resituate ourselves, any position in the legs that's comfortable. Cross-legged, heel to heel. Do draw that lower belly in a little bit to support the length of the spine. Relax the head on the shoulders. Float the fingertips out from the shoulders. We'll go right into our seated triangle. So on the inhale, the right arm floats up. Keep that right sit bone anchored. Slide along that invisible wall, leaning it to our left. Big stretch again through the waist, the side body, the shoulder. Our inhales will pull us up, so we have to use some muscle there. We'll switch arms. Exhale, stretch. And let's take it one more time to each side. It's okay to rotate the drishti. Just keep the neck long. Good. So after we take it one more time to our right, we'll meet on the inhale with both arms up, bringing those palms to touch and exhaling to our center. Cross-legged, let's switch up the cross of those legs, placing the opposite foot in front. And then our active twist tonight like we've been doing. So the inhale lifts us up. Exhale, keep that length as we rotate and twist to our right. The shoulders, the neck, the head, and the eyes will follow tonight. Open your eyes as wide as possible. Use your peripheral vision. See how far you can see. Inhale, everything comes back up to center. Exhale, big twist to our left. Same thing, twist all the way up to the crown of the head. Stretch those eyes. One more time to each side. Follow the breath. Good. So after we've twisted everything out one more time to our left, our next inhale is where we will catch up, arms up, take your time getting there, and then hands to heart. So we'll make our bigger transition now to tabletop, however that works for you. You can crawl forward, stretch your legs out. We'll clear our space unless you're using some additional props underneath your knees. I saw this thing, I never go shopping, but I went to TJ Maxx the other day because I had to, and they had all their yoga props around their athletic gear, and they had one of those knee pads there, but it was like more of an oval shape. So if you're looking for some props and braving going into any shops, they had some stuff. Anyway, it just popped in my mind. Extra knee cushion. All right, find your alignment. Hands under shoulders, arms are strong. Knees should be right underneath those hips. And we'll either flatten up the tops of those feet or we'll tuck our toes under. Let's get into our little bit of flexion and extension. So our inhale takes us into our gentle back bend, lengthening from tail to crown. Remember, we're trying to create space. I'm not just jamming into my low back, I'm trying to lengthen. Same thing on my exhale, I'm drawing the belly in, and I want to create space up and down the whole spine. Let's do those a couple more times. Feel free to add in those lateral movements or hang out in one of them if the body really needs it. Once we balance ourselves out, we'll come into neutral position. So let's give the backs of those legs and knees another stretch. So I normally do this in class. We haven't done it as much lately. So keep your hips level. Stretch the right foot back to the back of the mat. Toes are tucked under. And just go ahead and let's shift our weight through that foot. So it's as if we're trying to press the heel towards the ground. Lift the right knee up as much as you can to open up the back of the knee. So my arms are strong here. I'm pressing into my mat. And I'm trying to get a good stretch for the Achilles, the calf, behind the knee into the hamstring. Breathe it in. Exhale, we'll bring our right knee down. Now let's extend that left foot straight back from the hip, follow the foot to the floor. So the more we shift our weight and guide that heel towards the floor, the more that will intensify the stretch. And instead of just letting your left knee sag, try to lift it up. And we contract the quadricep, another tongue twister, to make that happen. Equal weight in the hands, ground through those first knuckles so the wrists don't take all the pressure. Be mindful where your head is in space. Breathe it in. Exhale, that knee comes down. Let's give our wrists a quick break before we do our side plank. So we'll go into our child's pose to stretch our low backs and hips. Knees may be wide, toes touch, sinking sit bones to heels. Continuing with our shoulder heart opening, we'll rise up on our fingertips. I'm going to open my hands even wider. From there, melting the heart and head to the ground. Or more passive, or if the head doesn't touch, cross your arms, stack your fists under your forehead. And some days you might need one, other days you might need the other. So we don't always have to do the same thing in our practice, as we know. Our yoga is flexible and it adapts to us, and we also want to be flexible, not just physically, but mentally. So really meeting our bodies and ourselves where we are tonight. Not where we were last night, not where we want to be tomorrow night, but what's really going on right now. One more breath here. Or inhale, floats the head and the body up. We'll restack our joints. Spread those fingers. Hands are still as broad as the shoulders. We'll slide the top of our left foot out towards the long edge of our yoga mat. Re-extend the right leg straight back from the hip. And then we are going to press down into our left hand, roll to the instep of the right foot, and come into our side plank. So I'm trying to stack my hips, stack my shoulders. My head stays in line with the spine, and my right fingertips reach up to the ceiling. Now my left side is active as well, right? I'm not letting it sink. I'm pulling it away from the ground. If we want a little bit more, we will squeeze our right side to hover the right leg up, parallel to the floor. Drishti might be down, forward, or up to that top thumb. Keep the back of the neck long. Notice the breath. We'll take one more breath in when we get there. Our exhale lowers the foot, look down. We'll unwind the whole body, so we'll have to bring our knee back down, hand, the feet. Once we're back into neutral, fingertips or fists for wrists, we'll take a couple of our cat-cows to make sure we are back to neutral. And we'll level things out. Strong hands, strong core. Slide the top of the right foot out. Stretch the left foot straight back from the hip. That leg is nice and strong. Press out to the knuckles of the right hand. Press into the earth. Roll to the instep of the left foot. Stack the hips and the shoulders. Reach that left arm up. So another thing, we don't want our right shoulder to crunch towards our ear. Open up the top of the right shoulder. Gaze maybe down, forward, or up. Right side body pulling up away from the ground. Left leg super straight and strong, whether it's touching or if we want to lift it up, we'll have to do a little bit more work. Hovering it parallel to the floor. Little weeble wobbly, totally normal. This is a balancing pose. One more big breath in. Exhale, reverse out of the pose, same way you went into it. Foot down, look down, hand, stack the joints, the knees, and the feet. Fingertips, fists for wrists. If your wrists need a break, couple cat-cows. Neutral spine, tuck those toes under. Let's walk ourselves towards the back of our yoga mat. We'll get into a little bit of our slow flow tonight. So this will strengthen the upper back and the shoulders and the backs of our upper arms. Walk those hands one hand's distance forward. Pull that low belly in so the back is supported. Inhale, we'll glide forward in kneeling plank. We want those hips to try to get level between the knees and the shoulders. So you might have to adjust your distance. Exhale, takes a bow. Pops the palms, head towards the floor, doesn't need to touch. We'll also feel that stretch in the shoulders and upper back. Inhale, we slide forward. Follow your breath. When we're ready, we'll add these half chaturangas or tricep push-ups. It's important that the spine and head stay neutral. Exhale, we bend the elbow joints. It might just be a micro bend. We inhale to straighten our arms. Option to bow back, or those of us that have been working on these in classes lately, maybe we feel like today we can hang out here for a little bit and do several in a row. But whenever we start to collapse our low back, that's when we stop. When our alignment falls out of place, we need to take a break. Good choices, y'all. I love it. Feel this around the shoulders, upper back, triceps. Good. One more. If we're bowed back, the next time we all come forward, it's the slow one. We're going to try to exhale, lower down. You're welcome to do that from full plank versus kneeling plank. You got the power. We'll lower onto our belly. The chin stretches forward. Flatten out the tops of those feet. Legs wider than the hips if we take care of the low back, or zip the feet and legs to touch like the tail of a snake. Inhale, breathing. We're going to open our heart by contracting the upper back. So your shoulders should not be at your ears. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Pull those elbows in, back, and down. Start to tighten up the mid-back, low back. Push your hips, the pelvis into the floor. Legs are super strong. And we're also breathing here. A little bit more. Let's try to float our hands up, squeeze. We're going to hold cobra tonight. Keep the back of the neck long. We're going to do it a little differently. So I want us to breathe and hold, lifting up as high as we can. Squeeze those glutes for 3, 2, 1. On this exhale, we'll take our prone shavasana. So we may turn our head to one side. Turn your big toes in, let the heels fall open, and slide your arms down beside the body with the palms up. Prone shavasana. You're also welcome to be in crocodile or a version of makarasana with the hands tucked underneath the temple. So we're going to take a prone shavasana between each of our back bends tonight. A little different. Remember which way you've turned your head, because the next time we do this, I'm going to tell you to turn your head the other direction. So next, Shalabhasana, chin forward. Open the legs nice and wide. Activate those legs. Flip your palms down towards the ground. Start with the upper half of the body. Inhale, open the heart by squeezing the upper back. Pull your shoulder blades down the back. Arms are hovering. We haven't added the legs yet. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Don't hold the breath. Keep breathing. Single leg, half locust. Squeeze the right buttock. Lift the right leg up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, lower. One more time, one leg at a time, or inhale, everything lifts, squeeze the whole back, back, back. Exhale, turn the head the opposite direction, flop the heels open, arms flop down, palms up, relax the fingertips. Just observe the breath in the body in between sets. Chin forward, flip the palms down to the ground, activate the legs, keep them zipped up or open them wider than the hips. Lean a little bit to your left side, slide the right arm all the way underneath the body, palm down. If the arms are flat to the floor, if your elbows are bent up, that means that you have really tight muscles and you're unable to straighten the arm, or it might be because of an injury. Don't force it. So if your elbows do not touch down, the eyes of your elbows, keep your hands outside the body. If your right arm is under the body, palm down, you're going to roll to your right and slide your left arm under. So now both arms are sandwiched underneath the body. Chin is forward. Legs wide or zipped up. Press your palms into the ground. Now we're going to do just the legs. Inhale. Try to lift both legs up. If that's a little bit much, do your right leg for a breath. Lower it, and then lift your left leg up for a bit. Lower it, or both legs are lifting up. So we have been working on this pose the last few classes, so you can modify as needed. You'll feel pressure in your forearms. Keep breathing, holding, and lifting, or alternating for 3, 2. If you're alternating, make sure you balance yourself out, right to left. 1. Exhale, release the pose. Turn the head to one side. Lift up one side of the body to roll the arm out, and then the other. Palms are up, fingers are curled up, heels are flopping open. You get a little rush down those arms, a little heat, tingling warmth. That's normal. If they've completely fallen asleep, maybe we did a little too much that time. And then we're going to do one more back bend, chin forward, hands back underneath the shoulders. All 5 fingers are zipped up. Super strong legs, glue them to the ground, whether they're wide or zipped up tight. Revisiting Bhujangasana, but doing a little bit different of a version. So inhale, lift the chest and heart. I want you to press your hips into the ground. Your glutes should be nice and tight. From here, pull your shoulder blades down your back. You may press into the hands slightly, but I don't want your arms to do all the work. Keep squeezing your back. And you are not jamming your upper back to your low back. You're creating length. We're actually trying to stretch the crown of the head forward and up. Try to hold and breathe for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Turn the head the opposite direction. Arms down beside the body, palms up. Let the heels flop open. Notice the body and the breath. Take a big belly breath. And then one more time. Chin forward, hands under the shoulders. Toes tuck under this time, hips width apart. Scoop that tailbone under to use your core. Press the ground away from you. We'll try to push up with a neutral spine, so we should be back in a kneeling plank. We'll need to bring the knees back underneath the hips. And we'll take a couple of our baby cat-cows. We got to counter a little bit some of our back bending. Don't overdo it too quickly. If we feel like we need to sit back into that child's pose to get a bigger stretch for those muscles, go for it. And then inhale, head up, body up. Hands walk forward, toes tuck under. Draw that low belly in, and we're going to float up to another half inversion, downward facing dog. So take a moment, pedal those heels. This is another opportunity to really stretch and open the backs of the legs. And doing that one leg at a time, we can usually get a little bit more out of it. Make sure we're internally rotated in our hands, mound of index finger and thumb, rolling those upper arm bones away from the ears. Try to draw those thighs to the back wall. Feet should be symmetrical to each other, unless there is a physical thing that is stopping that from happening. On our inhale, we'll lift our heels up. Exhale, drop your right heel to the ground and bend the left knee. So we're concentrating on lengthening and opening up the back of the right leg. Choose to stay here or float the right leg up parallel to the floor now. Super strong. The hips haven't shifted. They're still parallel to the floor. Equal weight in both hands. Really intense stretch for that left leg. Try to press that thigh bone back even more. Breathe it in. Exhale, right foot comes down. Pause, sink the heels down. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, drop the right heel to the ground. Sink into it. Keeping those hands and arms strong, you may choose to stay here or flex the left foot. Left leg floats up just parallel to the floor. This is not down dog splits. We're trying to keep our hips level, use a little bit more core. And now try to press your right thigh bone back. Heel to the ground. Big stretch for the back of that leg. Breathe it in. Exhale, left foot down. Inhale one more time, both heels up. Exhale, sink the heels towards the ground. And then we'll inhale, look forward and take our time. Walking forward towards our hands in Uttanasana, forward fold. Remembering our modifications for our low back are to bend the knees, elbows or hands on our thighs, or coming all the way up. If we're staying upside down, we recognize that we are in an inversion. So we want to continue to be mindful. Heart conditions, glaucoma, blood pressure. We can prance our legs here too. So you can focus on trying to straighten one leg at a time by simply bending the opposite knee slightly. Maybe releasing the shoulders, head and neck a little bit, or ragdolling hands to elbows. We'll roll it up tonight. So we'll all micro bend our knees a little bit. Hands to thighs, turning our fingertips in, tucking the chin, pressing to the ground through the feet. And on our inhale, we'll restack our spine. One vertebra at a time. Hedge, the last thing to come up. As we roll up, we'll roll our shoulder blades down our back. We'll feel the symmetry front to back, side to side. Let's turn our palms to face forward tonight so we can continue with a little bit of this chest opening, feet parallel to each other. Going right into our balance. If you need to adjust, adjust in your space. Inhale, big circle out wide, overhead. The heels lift up, palms touch. Exhale, hands and heels down. 2 more times. Palm tree pose. Really try to create a lot of length on these inhales. Reach up to that ceiling, tippy toes. Good. Exhale, lower it down. Open the feet a little wider. So they're just slightly wider than the hips. We'll lean to our right side and press our right leg through the floor. Making our left side a little lighter. Lift and lower those toes. Hover the arms now beside the body. Try to find our float. And then creating that giant letter X again. Flex the foot, spread the fingers and the toes, reaching in 4 directions. One direction is through the floor. The left leg is reaching away. The arm's reaching away. But I'm still super strong around my waistline. What's the breath doing? Maybe a little blink of the eyes if you're in a safe space. And then we'll breathe it in. And on our exhale, we will land as softly as possible. And pausing in this little wider stance Tadasana, palms forward. Inhale, reach really wide, all the way overhead. Palms touch, exhale to center. Lean to the left and push down through that left foot. Stronger this is, the lighter this will be. Lift and lower those toes. We'll find a little floating action. And more dynamic, reaching, creating space. Spread the fingers, spread those toes. Reach in all 4 directions. Neck is long. Maybe a little blind balancing to challenge our brain and our ego. Take one more breath in. And then exhale again. We're trying to land as softly as possible. Turning our palms forward, standing tall. Equalize the weight in both feet. Keep your focus. Drishti on one spot. Inhale, reach it up. Big stretch, drishti to thumbs for just a gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. So if we move for our balance, we want to end up back towards the front of our yoga mat with our feet still hips width apart. We'll do our crescent moon pose again, and this time from our lunge. So we'll bring our hands onto our hips. We want our hips to stay square to the front corners of our mat. Big step back with just that right foot in line with the hip. So we are not on a tightrope. We have some space there. We can even increase the space between our feet if our balance is off. Left knee over ankle. Now, tendency to hyperextend the low back. So we want to anchor the lower or upper buttock down. Push your tailbone under. Pull the front body to the back body. Float the head. And I'm taking my pelvis and trying to get that little scoop under and starting to feel that big pull up the front of the quad, the hip flexor. Ardha Chandrasana brings the right arm forward and up, drawing that upper arm bone back as much as available to us. Left arm may follow. Arms may stay nice and wide in that V shape. Or we can try to take hold of opposite elbows and relax the head back, like as if we're relaxing in a hammock in the upper half of our body. The legs are super strong. Continue to root the tailbone. Breathe. From here, try to sink the right heel straight down and back. So it's not turning in like Virabhadrasana 1. This is more for the Achilles and the calf. Some of us will be unable to do that regardless of how flexible you are, because you might be hitting bone-to-bone compression in the front of the ankle. So don't stress yourself out if the heel doesn't touch down. It might not have anything to do with flexibility. And even if it did, it doesn't matter. We got enough things to worry about in our lives. Our yoga should not be one of them. Now, feel that stretch. Keep rooting the tailbone. A lot of length through that right hip. One more breath in. One more breath out. Now inhale, lift the right heel back up. Exhale, hands to hips. Look forward and try to pull your body back forward. Standing in Tadasana. Extend the arms out, palms forward. Feel the heart open. Inhale, reach it wide up. Exhale, float it back down, hands to hips. Hips stay square. Big step back with our left foot into our high lunge. We're on the ball of the foot, so there's a little buoyancy back there. Right knee is stacked over the ankle. Hips square to the front corners of your mat. As I fall off my mat. Anchor that upper buttock down. Scoop the tailbone under. Pull your front body to back body. So pull those low ribs in. Pull the navel to the spine. We're holding on to our pelvic bowl. Try to tuck it under even more. Big stretch to the front of the left quad, thigh, hip. Ardha Chandrasana, left arm floats forward and up, bringing that upper arm bone back. Right arm can meet it. Arms into a V, shrug those shoulders from the ears, the neck is long. Try to take a hold of those elbows again. Try to switch the cross of your elbows. If you're unsure, grip them one way, grip them the other. See if it feels weird. The head can relax back. Legs super strong, and breathe. We'll hold the pose, but now we'll try to sink the left heel to the ground. This side for me and my calf muscle anyway, a lot tighter. I'm barely touching the ground on this side. Think about the back of that knee. Press your left thigh bone back. One more breath in. One more breath out. Inhale, float the left heel up. Exhale, hands to hips. Look forward, inhale, step forward, stand tall. Exhale, arms beside the body, palms forward, Tadasana. And then inhale, let's reach, last chance, extending upwards. Drishti to thumbs for the gentle back bend. Taking our time on our exhale, bend those knees slightly, hinge from those hips, or modify, we'll take it back down into Uttanasana. Feel free to release the shoulders, the head and neck, or modify. Our inhale floats us into our halfway lift, so we'll bring our hands onto our shins, open the heart by squeezing the upper back. That's a nice way to tone that upper back. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Big step back into our planks. Strong plank. Hold for a couple breaths. Anchor those shoulder blades onto your back. Pull that low belly in. Compact your hips. Look slightly forward so the neck stays long. Breathe and smile. To modify, drop the left knee down first under the hip. Turn the foot out. Roll to your right instep. Stack the hips, the shoulders. Right arm reaches up. Side plank. Full Vasisthasana. Step the insides of the feet to touch. Both heels drop to the left. Pull your left side away from the floor. Stack the hips and the shoulders. Right arms up. Be mindful where your head is and space. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. We'll all unwind. So if you're in the modification, you might end up back in tabletop or kneeling plank, which is fine. Pause in neutral. Other side, to modify, right knee under hip, turn the right top of the foot out. Come to the instep of the left foot, pull your right side body up as you stretch the left arm up. Full Vasisthasana, insides of the feet and the legs touch. Right arm super strong, don't collapse into that right shoulder. Reach up to the ceiling, not only through your left fingertips, but the left hips. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, we'll unwind. We'll either end up back in full plank, kneeling plank, or tabletop. Doesn't matter, no judgment. Keep breathing. Inhale, float those hips up. Exhale, sink the hips back and down, all the way through those heels, whether they touch or not. Bend the knees if we need a little bit more decompression. Downward facing dog. Inhale, heels up. This exhale drops the knees to the ground. Point the toes. We'll try to sit back on our heels, head down, or stacked on our hands or arms, or hands to the feet, palms up, relaxing the arm bones down beside the body. Child's pose. Hands under the shoulders, tuck the chin. Inhale again, this articulation of the spine. So we're going to round up one vertebra at a time until we're sitting up nice and tall. And then we will shift our hips over to either side, doesn't matter. And we'll release our feet forward in front of us. So I've got a request for some upper back strengthening, and a good way to do that upper back is our reverse plank. It is going to put a little pressure on our wrists. We'll do 2 sets, and we've done these in class already the month of September, so some of us might remember what this looks like, but I'll cue us through it. I'll show reverse tabletop first, and then Purvottanasana reverse plank. So we'll step our feet in, feet or hips width apart. We bring the heels of the hands in line with the outsides of the hips, and my fingertips are actually pointing backwards at first. Then I anchor the tops of my middle fingers down. I float my palms up, spin them around on the tip of that middle finger, and then drop them back down. So my elbows are bending straight back, and I am leaning back a little bit here. I might step my feet in a little bit more at this point. We'll strengthen the back, so between the shoulder blades, the low back, tighten up your glutes, press into the earth to lift the hips up. Now your knees should be pointing towards your toes, and your toes should be pointing towards the front line of your mat, and the arms are strong, and we're still rooting into the mound of the index finger and the thumb. The neck should still be nice and long. Squeeze the back side. Breathe it in. Exhale, lower it down. Pretty intense on those wrists. Let's give them a quick break. Flip over to the tops of the hands. Drag your knuckles forward. Praying mantis. Pinch the forefingers to the thumb and all the fingers towards the forearm to really stretch out the top of that wrist. And then shake it out. Slide those hands back, drag the knuckles, praying mantis, pinch, pull them in. Exhale, shake it out. So we'll repeat. Reverse tabletop. If we want to try Purvottanasana, we do need to be really careful about the knees because they want to collapse, and low backs. I might try it tonight. I don't know that it will stay here, but I will demo it. So if you're trying reverse plank, you want the legs straight. Heels of the hands besides the hips. Middle fingers touch down. Spin them around. Elbows bend straight back. So same thing. You're really going to squeeze the back side. I'm pointing to the toes of my feet, squeezing my upper back and arms, and then inhale, lifting up. And you should have a tiny micro bend at the knees. Do not collapse your knees. If you get cramping in the feet, that's normal. If it's too much, like I'm getting, I'm going to release the pose, set my feet in, and repeat tabletop. Those of you in reverse plank, same thing. You should be rooting through the mound of the index finger and the thumb. Pointing the toes forward and down. You have to tighten everything in the back side to really lift those hips up. We'll try to hold for 3, 2, 1. Slow release with control. Flip onto the knuckles of the hands, drag them forward. Pinch the fingers to the thumbs, all the fingers to the forearms to counter that pressure. Exhale, shake it out. One more time. Drag it forward. Good. Inhale, pinch and pull, pull, pull. Exhale, shake it out. Time to come onto our backs, ladies and gentlemen. So we may roll to one side and walk ourselves down. If we want to do that rolling through the spine and core, we'll move ourselves slightly forward. Soles of the feet are touching the ground. Knees are wider than the hips. Pull the belly in, little rounding of the back, fingertips forward, and we try to roll down, making contact with the whole length of the back, the sacrum, the lumbar, the middle of the back, the shoulders, and the head. When we all touch down, we're going to stretch our arms overhead and stretch those legs up into our long body stretch. Take a breath. And then we'll float the arms down, shoulders under, walk the feet in, and then hug those knees into the body. So we'll do that nice hip flexor pose. I still don't have a name for it. We're going to cross our left ankle on top of our right ankle. I started on the other side tonight, so use your left arm to reach down, and we try to take a hold of the right toes, right top of the foot. If you don't have the foot, that's just your intention. We're going to concentrate on the right knee now. We want it to point straight up to the ceiling. Don't let it flare out to the side. Move the left foot up and out of the way. And as we pull the right foot over the left buttock, we try to drop the right knee straight forward from the hip. If you feel like your torso just got pulled out of alignment, overarching that low back, we need to ground back down, use some strength of your core. So there's lots of variations of this pose. The first one is to stay right here. The next one, bring your grip onto your left shin bone, elbows in, shoulders down, pulling the left knee towards the left shoulder. Simultaneously encouraging your right knee to stay down towards the ground. It's going to want to come up when we draw the left knee in. That's how we intensify the stretch. No tension in the face. Don't let the jaw do the work. And one other variation. Drop the left foot to the floor. Let the left knee fall open. So this knee will open like Baddha Konasana. That may intensify the stretch even more. Up the right quad, hip flexor. Try to keep that low back flat, hips level. Side bodies equal in length. Arms may reach overhead. Grab opposite elbows. See if you can remember which way you're crossing your arms, because we'll switch it on the other side. One more breath. Use that exhale to breathe out any stress or tension. We'll release our grip, slide the arms down, float the left knee up. Now we only lift the left leg up just enough so our right foot can safely slide out. Both feet to the ground, tiny little baby wipers, windshield wipers, or rocking side to side. Draw the belly in to hug the knees in. Now we'll cross the right ankle on top of the left ankle. We'll take our right arm, reach down and around, trying to take a hold of those left toes, top of the foot. We'll encourage our left foot towards our right buttock. The right foot might need to come up a little bit. Look at your left knee. It's pointing straight up to the ceiling. And when we exhale, we want it to follow straight forward from the hip. So the whole left side is in one straight line. Adjust the low back, hips, and shoulders. Next variation, move the grip to the right shin bone If you're interweaving all 10 fingers, place the opposite pinky in front, taking that funky grip in the hands. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed down. Try to keep your left knee tracking down to the floor as we draw right knee to right shoulder. And then one last variation, right foot to the floor. This time we do allow that right thigh and knee to fall open, like bound angle pose. So you might get a little stretch in the inner right thigh, but the intention is to really pull up through the front of the left quad, hip, and waist. Arms overhead, see if you can switch up the cross of your hands to your elbows. If you're not sure, just re-grip them the other way and try to take the way that feels the weirdest. Relax the body weight down, focus on the exhale. One more breath. We'll release our grip, arms down, right knee up. Float the right foot up enough so that the left foot can slide out. Both feet plant to the floor. Rock those knees out side to side. So whatever else you feel like you might need to do before final relaxation, we can do that now. If you want to revisit windshield wipers into a more modest twist and hold each side for a couple breaths, or maybe hug the knees into twists. If you want to bring it back up to bridge pose, bringing the arms under the body, if you're focusing on opening the front of those hips and strengthening the upper back. Maybe a happy baby. Maybe you're ready to start gathering up your props and take it to Shavasana. So I'll give us just a minute here if we are moving around to balance ourselves out. So those of us maybe still moving around, let's start to finish what we're doing and then start to transition to our final relaxation. So we'll take the supportive any props that we want for our head, our back, our legs, using eye coverings if we have them, putting some effort into this pose. And let's practice a little bit of our tense and release tonight to really make sure that we have any stress and tension out of our body from our day and our week. So we'll start with just the face. We're going to squish up our face and make a nice ugly face and furrow the brow and tighten up the mouth, tongue, and jaw. And take a breath in, tightening. And then exhale, let all those little muscles relax. Arms are relaxed out beside the body. We're going to tighten them up. So curl the hands into two strong fists, straighten the arms. Try to hover the arms a few centimeters from the floor, tightening all the way up to the shoulders and upper back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale, let them fly. Now just the belly and the buttocks. So pull the belly in tightly, squeeze the buttocks, squeeze those glutes, tighten up the front and the back. Inhale. Exhale, let them drop. Now just the legs, so flex those feet, spread the toes, pull them to the shin bones, kick your heels forward, maybe the heels pop up, tighten up your quads. You can try to hover the lower legs, maybe a couple centimeters, be kind to your low back, squeeze and inhale. Exhale, let them drop. And now we're gonna do everything, every possible thing we can tighten our body, we're gonna tighten. So furrow the brow, squish the eyes, tighten up the jaw, shoulders, arms, straight, strong, two strong fists, lift those arms up, pull the belly in, tighten up the glutes, the buttocks, around the hips, flex the feet, spread the toes, tighten all the muscles of the legs, maybe try to lift the heels up, squeeze everything in the body as tight as we can, breathe it in. And exhale, let it go. Let everything flop to the floor. Feel the body sink through the floor. Let go of controlling the body. Let go of controlling the breath. The breath is natural, easy, whatever it wants to be. It already knows. And let go of controlling the mind tonight. If it wanders, thoughts creep in, we can just let those thoughts pass through the mind like clouds passing through the sky. Allow the mind, the breath, and the body to just absorb into each other and to fall down towards the earth. Giving ourselves just one more moment of today to let go, to feel a sense of surrender and sink into Shavasana. And slowly coming back to the rhythm of our breath. We will start to breathe through the body to gently wake up the toes. Give the fingertips a little wiggle, a rock of the head side to side. Roll those ankles and wrists. Our next inhale, we'll float our arms all the way overhead for another really big stretch. Feeling all the space we created in our body this evening, right to left, front to back. Exhaling, we'll bring the arms down, step the feet in, and hug our knees into the body. Right arm falls beside the head, rolling on our right side, pausing for a moment. Keeping the eyes soft or closed, press into the ground to bring the body up. Revisiting any comfortable seated position, taking a couple more breaths together tonight. Find those sit bones, sit up tall to the crown of the head, minding our space, float the arms out beside the body, palms up. Another nice deep breath in to float those arms up and to draw in everything that we need for the rest of our night. We'll turn the palms out, big exhale out to float the fingertips back to the floor and to give ourselves permission to let go of all that other junk we don't need tonight. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Humbly bow the head down to the heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and anyone else that made it possible for us to practice our yoga together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace.